Hello, and welcome back to my doll studio. When we left off, I made a fabric doll from a pattern that I have for sale on my website. She stands at about 18 inches tall. And now I'm going to show you how I do the faces. I take a pencil and I draw one line and then the other. This helps with symmetry. So I start with the upper lid and then I go in and draw the eye. I never like to make my dolls look on fully centered. I like to have them look slightly off center. For some reason, it makes them look like they're looking at you more. Then I quickly draw the nose and the mouth, and then I outline where I want the eye shine to be. It's like a little glimmer of life that is in the eyes. Then I pencil in the eyebrows, and then I go in with white watercolor pencil. Even though this is muslin and it's pretty pale, that little pop of white also does a lot to bring the eyes to life. While that dries, I go in and use blush. I really don't have a lot of patience when I'm doing my doll faces. I want to do them all at once. So I found that white has the perfect amount of time to dry while I blush out the face. I use watercolor pencil for the blush as well, but it's dry. I find that it helps it blend a little bit better. Sometimes the muslin will pill a little bit, so as I'm drawing and coloring, I pick up little pieces of pilling that might come out from the fabric. Every once in a while, I'll give the nose a little blush, and then I kind of blush in the lips as well. This doll is going to have a bit of a neutral expression. I color her eyes green, and with all the coloring blocked out, I then go in with the ink. I just use a fine tip Sharpie, but I have to be very careful. This one doesn't have a lot of ink, but sometimes that's helpful. It allows me to sketch in a little bit better. Sometimes when the Sharpies are super new, ink can bleed a little bit. But I like to say that there's no mistakes when you're making a doll face. Everything can kind of be adjusted. I use the same strategy as when I go in with the pencil. That is where I do one line on one side and one line on the other. This helps me get the symmetry the best. I make little squiggles for the eyebrows and then kind of find the shape as they go. Eyebrows, I don't worry so much about symmetry. Human faces aren't symmetrical, so why do all doll faces have to be? From there, I outline the lips, and sometimes I find that a little less is more. Start by drawing and seeing the least amount that you can do, and then add kind of in layers as you go. Underneath the eye shine, I draw the pupil and roughly center it, and this is when the doll really starts to come to life. I often find that if I have kind of messed up the doll face, a lot more eyeliner helps. So I start out sparingly and then I go in and add more and more. It does make the doll have a little more of a sultry look though. I always like to add bottom lashes, and that's where I finish one eye and then move on to the other. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. I really do like to work in stages. I think her expression is pretty sweet and pretty neutral. You can always go in and add more color pencil on top if you want to give her more of a makeup look. Here you can see I didn't do the lashes in the same order, but sometimes I get carried away. After I do the bottom lashes, I kind of sometimes will draw a little bit of a faint eyeline. This is up to you. This is where you can make your own stylistic choice as an artist. And there she is, just about done. Oh, but wait, I'm going to give her a little more detailing in the eyes. Sometimes I add these highlights or lowlights, rather. They tend to give them a little more depth. My style is very loose, but also very sketchbooky, I guess, at the same time. That's one of the benefits of being able to draw on these flat fabric faces. I love it. after that, I go back in and add a little more color for the lips. She's getting a highlight to make them a little shiny, and then I wet the colored pencil a little bit just to darken it up. And there she is, done. I can't wait to see what faces you draw on your dolls. A lot of people have downloaded the digital pattern, and I'm so excited to see these little girls or boys, or they-thems, pop out into the world. Here she is posing. I love the way these fabric dolls pose. It actually forces you to play with them. It gives a different meaning to play. When you have a hard-bodied doll, you pose her, but with this doll, you play with her, and you're able to create lots of these little intimate moments if it's just you and the doll. She has her own attitude, and it kind of pops out, but I don't know. There is something that's super therapeutic and personal about it. It's not something that can be captured in a photo. What do you think?